Autumn Leaves is one of the first standards that many of us tackle when we start learning jazz guitar. And whilst it's simpler than a lot of standards, it still comes with its own set of challenges. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to solo confidently over Autumn Leaves. I'm going to show you the form, I'm going to show you the arpeggios that you need, and I'm also going to show you the scales that you need. So if you're new to jazz guitar, if you're just getting your bearings, if you're trying to tackle this one for the first time, this video is going to be really, really useful. It's going to help you improvise over it confidently, purposefully, and with a sense of direction. There's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that you already know how to play the melody. We're going to jump in and we're going to look at just soloing and how to solo over it, okay? We're in the key here of G minor, but we start in the key of B flat major. So this is a really common form in jazz. You also get this happening in, for instance, Fly Me to the Moon. We start with this major key and then we transition to the relative minor. So we've got to start with a 2-5-1 in B flat major. We've got C minor 7 to F7 to B flat major 7, and then we've got a 6-2-5-1 in the key of G minor. So we've got a E flat major 7 to an A minor 7 flat 5, and then we've got a D7 and a G minor 7, okay? I like to sometimes put a sharp 5 and a sharp 9 on this D minor 7. So I think that sounds pretty cool, okay? So it's a really, really common form. And if you get used to this form and you get used to soloing over this sort of form, you're going to come across it in lots of other standards. So Autumn Leaves is a really, really good one to jump into as your first jazz standard. If you're new to jazz, this is a really good one to start off with, okay? So if we arpeggiate the chords in the A section, we get this. You'll notice when I arpeggiate that last G minor 7 chord, I'm raising that 7th just by a semitone. And the reason that I'm raising that 7th is because you want to get in the habit of just raising that 7th as per the harmonic minor scale. Because if you are soloing over that G minor 7, the arpeggio that you really want is with the raised 7th on it. So you end up effectively arpeggiating a minor major chord because you've got a minor 3rd in there, but a major 7th. Which gives us that chord, which you can hear sounds pretty spicy, and that's going to work really well over that G minor 7. So once you've got these arpeggios under your fingers, one of the things that you can do if you want to get really confident with this tune, and I would give you this advice for really getting comfortable with any jazz standard, is you want to just practice playing the 3rd of each arpeggio in order. And if we do that, we get something like this. So you can hear really that is spelling out the melody quite well. For the 3rd of the A minor chord, instead of going to the 3rd, you could also go to that flat 5 because that's quite a strong note as well for that A minor. So you could play this. And you can hear that that's also spelling it out quite well. So really just practicing that initially all over the neck, that's going to help you work out where your target notes are, so you're not going to get too lost when you're soloing because you know, okay, I've got to get to that 3rd by this point. But also it's just going to help you acclimatize if you're new to jazz to not just hearing the root of every chord. Very often when we play say rock music or blues or whatever, we just get used to kind of hearing the chord but really kind of hearing the root of every chord. So for a C minor 7, you know, your brain will be telling you, okay, as long as I'm hitting that root occasionally, I'm fine, because very often we're soloing using one scale. But when we play jazz, you really want to get used to kind of hearing the individual notes that make up the chord, and 3rds are a really good place to start, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to basically do what I just did, playing those thirds, but I'm going to connect those thirds using some voice leading and using some chromaticism. So you can just hear how this sounds when we basically just play over Autumn Leaves, over the A section, but just targeting the thirds all the time, but using chromaticism and using voice leading to connect those thirds, okay? So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the G harmonic minor scale and how we can use that G harmonic minor scale not just over our tonic, over our G minor chord, but also over our 2/5, our A minor 7 flat 5 and our D7. This is the G harmonic minor scale. This is going to work really well over that 2/5 as well, so you can play this over the 2/5/1, and it's going to sound really good because it's going to give you some outside notes. We've got in this G harmonic minor scale obviously notes that are going to harmonise well with the G minor 7 chord, but we've also got the flat 9 of the D7 chord, and we've got the sharp 5 of the D7 chord. You've also got, in that flat 9 of the D7 chord, you've also got the flat 5 of the A minor 7 or A minor 7 flat 5 chord. So you can get some nice outside notes by using that scale, not just over the tonic, like I say, but over the 2/5/1. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play it again over that chord progression. But when it comes to the G minor, the 2/5/1 right at the end, I'm just going to play the G harmonic minor scale, and you can have a listen to that and see how that sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's some ideas, folks. There's some things that should hopefully start you off soloing over Autumn Leaves. Like I say, this one's fairly straightforward, fairly easy, nothing too difficult. But if you learn those arpeggios that I showed you, you learn and familiarise yourself with that G harmonic minor scale all up and down the neck, and then maybe occasionally you throw in the tritone sub. That's really going to get you started. I'm not saying that there's not other approaches to this, and I'm not saying that this is the most complicated way to approach it or anything like that. But really, as long as it sounds good and you're hitting those target notes, and like I say, target the thirds, that's probably the place to start. As long as you're hitting those target notes on time and it sounds good and it sounds like it's got a direction and it's not hesitant and you're enjoying it and enjoying yourself and your confidence is growing, then ultimately, as with everything, that's all that matters. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know how you're getting on. And until next time, keep making music.